Hello, I'm Dean Zerbe. I'm with Zerbe Miller Fingeret Law Firm, and I am thrilled to have joining me today Eric Hylton, who's just joined our firm from years and years of experience at the IRS, just so many years in the saddle, and just brings a wealth of experience, knowledge, and background to help us in our work with tax whistleblowers. We're just so thrilled to have you here, Eric. Tell us a little bit, take us through all your background and work related to whistleblowers and enforcement and all the work you've done at the IRS.
No, thanks, Dean. I appreciate it. I'm truly honored to join the firm, ZMF. It's been 30 years of work with the IRS and gained a great deal of experience. Spend most of my time with criminal investigation, and a lot of folks are still probably say, well, does the IRS have a criminal investigation division? I say, yes, we do, and it's full and strong and robust organization. And the whistleblower program has just been an outstanding asset for criminal investigation. Over the years, we've seen a number of whistleblowers, confidential informants come in and provide invaluable information to the organization. So for a number of years, obviously I worked a number of high-profile investigations, and then moved on and was in charge about organized crime and drug enforcement. So got a lot of money laundering activity in there, and some whistleblowers that came in from that. And then also was in charge of our international operations for about 4 or 5 years. And that, just having that exposure was the right time. And, I give a lot of credit to you, Dean, as well, for just opening up the world as it relates to whistleblowers and, in the Berkensfield case and different things of that nature. It's been truly incredible. And so with that, really looked at a lot of the offshore activity that we've had as far as IRS criminal investigation, and the voluntary disclosure program, and so that has been a great asset for the organization. So many individuals who've come in and provided some great information for that. And then I moved on to be the deputy chief for criminal investigation, and then was appointed to the commissioner, small business self-employed, and brought in some of that same information and that drive to get whistleblower information to the service, not just from a criminal standpoint, from a civil standpoint, because there's so much there from a civil standpoint as well.
Very, very interesting. And I know you just did magnificent work on the offshore, and you're right, the illegal accounts, the Swiss bank accounts, and accounts all over the country. I know, hats off to you and all the terrific work you and your team did over there. As you come over here, tell us, one of the things that whistleblowers are always asking is, what is the IRS interested in? What do they want to hear about? What are the things that ring the bell for the IRS in terms of a whistleblower coming in? What information?
So one of the key factors, I think, truly that IRS wants to hear about is just insider information. I mean, not just abstract. Well, I heard my neighbor thought about a whistleblower, someone that's not paying their taxes. If you have to have some really strong, credible information and documentation, yes, associated with that as well. I mean, because that is, where, when, how, to some degree. Those are just some strong factors I think that will, bolster your case, and a substantive amount as well. I mean, I think, with the limited resources that the IRS has, they really are going to take a look at some of the stronger cases that are there. So those are just some of the factors I think are really important.
Tell me about, one thing you and I have talked about is it's not maybe well appreciated or known, but actually money laundering, IRS does the money laundering, you know that far better than I do, but that is encompassed by the IRS whistleblower law, particularly in the amendments we had, it expanded it. So if you've got information about a money laundering case, that too could come into the whistleblower program at the IRS. But what is it on money laundering that you think particularly, again, gets the IRS waking up in the morning and that they'd be interested in hearing from whistleblowers about?
Well, I think it's a great question, because as you expect, as expressed, under 7623C, IRS CI can work in a number of the different cases as it relates to money laundering. So a lot of individuals are not aware that IRS criminal investigation prosecutes money laundering investigations and investigates, with the U.S. Attorney's Office. And whether it's from terrorist financing, whether it's from cryptocurrency, whether it's from online gaming, whether it's from a number of different areas in which money laundering comes into play, narcotics. As I expressed, I was in charge of the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force for a number of years. So those are, just some of the areas in which we would pursue and look at from a money laundering perspective. And if you have those cases that are coming in and they get prosecuted, and there are seizures and different things of that nature, and the proceeds that are associated with that, whistleblowers can get a portion of that, which is exciting. I mean, because, and especially as we think about what is happening in the cryptocurrency arena right now and how that is blossoming.
Very interesting. One kind of aspect of that for folks, you talk about all this kind of worldwide, is there parts of the globe that the IRS is particularly interested and wakes up thinking about that they maybe would be particularly interested in hearing about in terms of whistleblowers?
As I was going around in the speaking circuit, as I was in charge of international, I think that was the number one question that I received. Where are we going next? And, you've done a lot of great work in Switzerland, but I would always say globally. I mean, we've done, the IRS has done a lot of great work in Israel. With the Bank Leumi investigation and the Bank Hapoalim. There's a lot of activity in the Far East. Singapore is a great area. A number of still different great cases in the Caribbean as well. So there's a number of different areas in which the IRS is very much interested in as well.
Just a couple of other questions for you. Tell me about, as you see the culture of the IRS dealing with whistleblowers, maybe just not only CI where you were so many years, but then on the civil side, your take on that of how they view whistleblowers.
Well, the service, first I'll start off because, when we think about from an international perspective, whistleblowers is probably one of the greatest assets that, an investigator and an auditor can have. So the IRS truly values whistleblowers and think about it very similar to having an undercover operation in which, you have a tape of what's going on and you hear the video or different things of that nature. Having a whistleblower that has great documentation is just solid gold for the IRS. And we highly encourage individuals to have that kind of information to come forward. And it's a great program. We've pushed it out. I mean, the IRS has pushed it out even internationally, trying to speak about it to some of the international partners as well. So it definitely something that we can look at.
Right. And I would say too, I know the IRS has been just terrific, and particularly CI, but all the IRS is very, very good at protecting the identity of the whistleblower. They take it very seriously, and I know many are concerned about that, but they really do a bang up job on that. One last question, everyone's now showering money on the IRS. It looks like that they're the new everybody's favorite person. How do you see that with the expansion of audit and exam and that nature of that? Do you see that whistleblowers will be playing a more expanded role as the IRS ramps up? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's, yes, IRS is receiving, or the potential receiving a lot more funding, as the years come about, but they've starved for years. Yeah. So it's going to take a little time, for them to kind of get up to speed and with this new personnel. But with if the law is passed and the IRS receives this amount of funding, you're going to see a significant amount of enforcement that's going to come. I mean, even, I would say up to the 5,000 or 10,000 new employees that may come about. So it's going to be a significant ramp up.
A lot of folks working. Well, Eric, I can't tell you again how thrilled we are to have you join us in ZMF and working with our whistleblower clients to make certain that they're providing good information. But as you told, get it in the right format, because that's the trick, is to get the IRS interested, to take a hard look, to give it a hard consideration, because a lot of folks file, but not only a handful get called, if you will. So this has been great. So great to have you on board with us, Eric.
No, thanks a lot, Dean.
Cheers.
My pleasure.
Thank you all.